Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm Average, and welcome back to another episode of A Beginner's Guide to Bun. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at using Bun's native SQLite driver, which if we look at their docs here, is a high-performance SQLite driver inspired by Better SQLite 3. For those who've used that package before, I think we used it in the Nuxt series as well. And I do want to say, while we're not going to be doing it in this video, you can use Bun's SQLite driver with Drizzle ORM. If you like using Drizzle, which I personally do, you can also do that. They have a whole guide for that right here. Use Drizzle ORM with Bun. But today's video isn't going to be about Drizzle ORM. This isn't our full stack Nuxt series. This is just checking out native Bun features, and I think it's pretty cool that you can just use SQLite natively. You can do the same thing with SQL as well. Okay, so let's get started. We have a completely empty project right now. So I'm going to open up my terminal and just head into an empty folder on VS Code and Bun init, the standard. We'll make a new project. We're not going to be using the previous one for this video. Our index.ts here, we got that. The first thing we have to do to actually get our SQLite connection set up is pretty simple. We can just do const db equals, and we can say new database. Then we can give it a string, and this is going to be the location of the database. If you want to use an in-memory database, you can do that as well, just by typing in :memory:. You'll get an in-memory version of SQLite. However, this is not going to be on your local file system. So once you close the project, if you do not save it somewhere, its data will get removed. For today's video, we're just going to say database.sqlite, just like so. And we need to import database from bun::SQLite. Now, if we've run this script, let's do bun run index.ts. You'll notice we do get a database.sqlite that generates for us right here. If I reveal this in File Explorer, I can open it up with something like DB browser for SQLite. That's what I personally use to look at and edit SQLite data. So we have no tables right now. It's a completely empty database. Let's actually work on adding a table. So you can run SQL queries natively with literally zero hassle. If I want to create a table, I can do db.run, and then we're going to give it a string, and this is where we're going to create our table. So we can say create table users, and then we need to give it a set of columns that it may have. So we can say ID, and we're going to make this an integer primary key, and we're going to give it auto increment. As well as that, we're also going to have a username that's going to be a text, and we're going to say not null. As well as this, we're also going to have a password, and that's going to be text, and we're going to say not null for that one as well. Now, if I were to run this, we will get inside of our database.sqlite. You'll see it's 12 kilobytes now, and we have our users table. We can look at the structure. You can see there we got ID, which is integer, and it is a primary key, username, text not null, and password text not null. So if I go into our users table, for example, I can add data. We'll get an auto incrementing ID field, and then we can set whatever kind of values we want here. So if I said ASD and 123, and I write those changes, we will have that now inside of our database. Something I am going to do is I'm going to change this to create table if not exists. And for those of you who don't know, this will make it so that this table is only created if it's not present in the database. So we have our one user here. Let's say I wanted to list every user inside of our table. What I can do is I can say const all users query, and what we're going to do is make a prepared statement. We're going to say db.query select all from users, and so this won't actually give us the value just yet. What we need to do is we need to say const users equals all users query dot all, just like so. And now if I were to log the users, we should get a collection of our users just like so. Very nice. If I were to add another user, for example, and I were to query that, we will also see that appear here too. So that's very cool. Okay, let's say if the table exists, I want to delete it every single time and recreate it so that we have the most up-to-date version of our table. We're going to get rid of this all users query here. And what I'm going to do is say user table exists query equals, we're going to say db.query select name from, and we're going to say SQLite master. This is the master record of everything within your database, and this includes your tables. So I can say where type equals, and I can say table. And then I also have to say and name equals users, because that is the name of our table. And we're checking if there's any tables in the master SQLite record with the name user. Then I can do a semicolon, and we're just going to say dot all. When I do dot all, this will ensure that our prepared query or our statement has executed. So dot all will execute the statement. So instead of actually calling this a query, it would make more sense if I called it user tables. And then I can say if user tables dot length is more than 0, 0. We can say db.run drop table users, just like so. Now we are going to check, does the table exist? And if it does, if the length is more than 0, if we actually get something from our query, we're going to drop table users. And so every single time now, if I do bun run index.ts, you should notice that our users table is completely reset. It's actually deleted entirely, and then it's recreated. So if we make any changes to the create table statement, they'll be reflected every time we run it. Okay, now let's say we want to add some users to our database. We're just going to do some sample users, very basic for loop there. And then we're going to say db.run insert into users. And then we can give it the 2 fields or the 2 columns that we want to populate with data. We don't need to give an ID since that's auto increment. And then I can say values, and we're going to use a prepared query or a prepared statement using these question marks as placeholder values. It's always great practice to use prepared statements instead of just adding raw values inside of here. This can prevent SQL injection, and it's generally advised to do it this way. And so after we have it like that, we can do a comma, and then we're going to give it an array. And this array is actually just going to be the placeholder values in the order that they are listed here. So it would be username and password. So for our user, it's going to be the name of the user underscore, and then the number that we're on currently. So I'm actually going to make this start at 1, and the condition is now going to be less than or equal to 10. So we should actually hit that 10 number. Okay, and then we also want to do a password. Let's just do a random password for our users. So I'm just going to do math.random. We're going to say toString 36. And I'm also going to do a substring of the password 215 so that we get rid of the 0 and the decimal there. So we have some real random passwords. There we go. Got a bunch of numbers and letters in there, which is nice. Let's say I wanted to query for a very specific user underscore 5, let's say. I can do const user query equals db.prepare. This is going to make a prepared statement that we can reuse. Select all from users where ID equals question mark. And the question mark obviously is going to be placeholder. So if I wanted to get a specific user and log it, I can say user query.get. And then I don't actually need to do an array for this one because we only have one placeholder value. So I could say something like 5. And I can also reuse this as many times as I like. So I can say user query.get 9, for example, and let's run it. We get our user 5 here with its password and our user 9 here with their password as well. So that is how you can fetch a very specific user. Something that's pretty awesome as well, in my opinion, is if we're going to be querying for data, and let's say I have a model for our users, I can make a types folder and I can make a new file in here. We're going to call it user.ts. We're going to make a new class called user. It's export class user. And our class is going to have an ID field, which is going to be number, a username field, which is going to be string, and a password field, which is also going to be string. We'll get some errors saying that we need an initializer, and because we're going to let the database handle this, we can just add a exclamation mark here. This will basically negate that warning saying it doesn't really matter. We understand that these will be populated by our ORM, which in this case is going to be the bun SQLite driver. So for our db.prepare, I can say .as, and then we can give it the class. So I can say user just like so. And now if I, for example, I can say user query.get 5, I can do .username, or for our get 9, I can say .password. And yes, you will need to do a question mark because it's not always guaranteed that you're going to get what you're trying to query from the database. So if I run index.ts, you'll see I can get a user 5, that's the username, and I can get the password of user 9. If you don't want to load everything into memory and you want to run something on every single row that you're fetching, const user table, and we can say db.query. We're going to just select all from users. We can say for const user of user table. And now we're going to iterate through every single row. This is faster. This is better for large data sets. And I can say console.log user dot, and we won't actually know what it is. We can say as user, just like so, user.password. There we go. Very nice. And we can get all passwords super fast, super easily. We can also do transactions, and transactions are designed to execute many queries atomically. So instead of up here doing this if statement without wrapping it in a transaction, we can wrap it in a transaction. We can do const user transaction equals db.transaction. And if we wanted to pass anything inside of it, we can, but we don't need any arguments for right now. We can just give it nothing. If you did have something from the outside, you can pass it in there, and we can put inside of here our for loop. And now to actually run our transaction, we can say user transaction like so. we're just calling it almost as if it was a normal function, and this will in fact create our users like it should. What's great about transactions though is let's say it fails at some point. For some reason there's an error. So let's say if I is equal to 2, so this should fail on the second one. We can throw a new error. We can say OMG, something went wrong. And now if I run this, we'll get the error, and also it won't do the rest of the transaction. So the transaction, including any previous users, and I can show you this, let's say I do ID 9 and I run it again, because there's an error, it will roll back everything from the transaction. And so I think that's pretty cool that it will roll back when it needs to, as transactions should do. That's everything for today's video. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about the Bun SQLite native driver. I think it's pretty great. And what's even better is it's super fast and you can slot it into other ORMs like Drizzle if you like. So very powerful stuff here. Gotta say, I love it. Bun is just getting better and better. So stay tuned for more. And with all that being said, I hope you're having a great day, and goodbye.